Change the course, kid. I hear the master's voice, but I'll never return to those chains and whips. Quick, change the course, kid. I hear the master's voice, but I'll never return to those chains and whips. Never return.
Yo, what's up? This is TJ Lavin, and this is the second Hanging with LAVS, and I decided that we had to do it with my friend Tyler Trueman. This is the kid who drove out from Texas, right?
Yep.
Drove out from Texas, goes and tries to make his BMX dreams come true, comes to Vegas, and completely changes the backyard and makes it his. And when I say he makes it his, I mean it. Like, the dude reshaped the jumps so sick, and he made me ride. Like, I don't want to ride anymore, but he made me ride my bike again. And it's been a year and 4 months and a broken leg and a bunch of crap, and I was like, man, I'm just over it, dude. I'm 40, I'm over it. And he made me ride my bike again because I saw how beautiful the yard was. So, are you a pro BMX rider, or are you just a digger, or are you both, or what are you?
I'm trying to do a bit of everything.
Okay.
Like, I like to play in the dirt, I like to ride my bike, I like to travel around. I'm trying to just do as many things as I can at one time.
And how old are you?
I am 20 years old. Turned
So, yeah.
21 in 2 weeks.
I got you by twice that. So these shoes are 20, bro. That's really nice of you. 20. Damn it, dude. All right. So what happened? Where did you come from? How did you do it?
So, I started racing BMX when I was 6 years old, and I liked to jump. That was the first thing I loved to do was jump. And so I raced for about 2 years, and then when I would race, I would jump higher than everyone, and they would all pass me. So I decided that racing wasn't for me, and because I started changing the jumps and making them smaller and mellower, and I like to jump, so I quit going there and I started riding dirt bikes because the jumps are a lot bigger.
Right. A lot bigger.
Yeah, they're a lot bigger. Then my dad and I rode moto for probably 10 years or so, and then we go pretty much every weekend. There's a track called Cycle Ranch in Texas that we go to all the time, and the jumps are awesome out there. And then they started changing up the jumps, and I didn't like them. So a friend of mine brought me out to this place behind this VFW in Texas, and it was called the Graveyard Trails. So that's where I kind of got introduced to the trail scene. And then Josh White, he kind of brought me in and showed me how to dig and the ways of the trails, and I've just been kind of building off that ever since.
Shout out to Josh White.
Josh,
you did a good job, bro. Like, you taught him well, man. That's awesome. So then you packed up your stuff and you have an Element, right?
Yep, I have a Honda Element.
You packed up all your stuff in your Honda Element and you drove to California.
Yep, I drove
because SoCal is where it's at.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Whenever I first got into trails, I really wanted to go to Woodward because everyone wants to go to Woodward when they're bikes because they have the most elite facility you can go to.
Right.
So I went there for a camper for a couple years, then I got into working there as a dish dog, and then I got in charge of the trails. And then after that, I started going there. I was living there for like a year and a half or so, maintaining the trails, just helping out with whatever they needed around there. And that's really what kind of got me going to want to go and keep rebuilding trails and just teach the ways of dirt jumps and trails to as many kids as I could.
Wow, that's sick.
That's pretty
So
sick.
what brought you here?
Just another place to be. I was doing shows this summer at Cedar Point with All Wheels, and whenever the shows finished, I was kind of just like, trying to figure out what to do. And then Jordy and her mom were like, yeah, come to Vegas and hang out with us for a little bit. I was like, all right, sweet. And then I've just been out here hanging with you, riding bikes, and just traveling all over the place.
Wow. And then you decided you wanted to revamp the yard?
Yeah, I came out here for the first time. It was for the torch shoot, October of 2015. And only Reggie and Style were running. And it was a little rough.
And the section coming back.
Yeah, the section coming back.
It was running too, but
yeah.
It was all shit.
Yeah, well, it wasn't shit, but
Okay.
It still works.
All right.
But my goal was to try and get as much of the stuff in the yard running as I could.
Okay.
And that's what I've been trying to do since.
Dude, it looks sick. So, all right, cool, man. So what's your plans from here on out?
From here on out, I'm going to be going back to Texas in a couple of weeks, go do a digging job out there, and then hopefully I'll be in Ohio again in the summer doing the shows with All Wheels at Cedar Point. And then I'd like to come back out here and try and play in the dirt again with you and keep catching some laughs.
All right, well, fair enough. There you go. If you see this guy at the trails, you will see some sharp-looking jumps. Thanks a lot, brother.
Yeah, good man.
Take care.
Return to those chains and whips. kid. I hear the master's horses. But I'll never return to those chains and whips. Quick, change the course, kid. I hear the master's horses. But I'll never return to those chains and whips. Never return, never return. But I'll never return to those chains and whips. Quick, change the course, kid. I hear the master's horses. But I'll never return to those chains and whips. Never return, never return. But I'll never return.